All right, all right. Welcome, everyone. We're going to talk today about trust networks. Who here has heard about block ravers? Raise your hand. Awesome. Okay, let's get started. First of all, what is trust? So trust involves a willingness to rely on the actions, words, or decisions of another party with the expectation that they will behave in a reliable, honest, and a competent manner. I just got this from ChatGPT. Okay, so if we take a look into this. So we have something that is known, something that is unknown, and we are in this ocean of uncertainty. For us to get to that unknown place, we actually need this thing that we call trust that is so fucking complex that we actually don't know what it means in many different contexts. So, in my opinion, trust is the lubricant of our society. So what are the core drivers of trust? So for me, and for many others, and this varies depending on the person that is looking at it, but in my personal opinion, trust requires authenticity. Meaning that I experience the real you, that I can feel that you're real, that I can feel that you have something that is unique. Competence, that I know that you can do something, that I trust your judgment, I trust like you're going to be doing something that is good and that you have actually the expertise for doing so. And then empathy, that I believe that you care about me and my success. So we need all of this, in my opinion, for trust to work and to grow. So how can we increase trust? Humans, we have done something very cool. We have created protocols for increasing trust. The first started with a handshake. Actually, a handshake was used as a way for showing that you didn't have any gun or didn't have any weapon in your hands or that you weren't hiding anything. So it was a way to show that you basically were receiving the other person, or welcoming the other person without guns or without violence. Then we started clinking glasses because we like to drink. Well, in reality, why we started clinking glasses is because some kings, they were afraid that someone would poison them. So they started clinking glasses with other people. And, they started pouring some of their wine to other people that brought them the wine to see if they will drink together with them. And as a show that they trust them, rather than pouring some wine on their cup, they would clink. So that means I trust you. I don't need to check that you're trying to poison me. And then somehow Gen Zs and millennials, we came up with this pinky promise. And but yeah, there are many other ways, many other protocols that we humans have been using in order to increase trust. Here you have a QR code. I actually encourage you guys to scan it. This is a very cool game. It's called The Evolution of Trust. In this game, they apply some game design, let's say, theories, and they study how different, let's say, different people behave, let's say, with time. It's not the same if you, let's say, meet someone for the first time and you know that you're not going to see them again. You don't necessarily behave the same if you know that you're going to see them over and over and over with time. How many of you have asked someone at the airport, please look at my bag? Okay, there's someone there. You don't know that person, but you still ask them, please look at my bag, because you expect that that person is not going to steal it, not going to run with it. And yeah, basically, we humans we always are using trust. And yeah, with this game, one thing that we can learn is that for us to increase trust, we need to repeat interactions. We need to have repetitive interactions. Another one is that we need to create win-win situations for all of us. Another one is that we need to reduce the miscommunication. We need to be able to improve as communicators. So yeah, as you can see, trust has evolved over time, and it keeps evolving. Trust, at the very beginning, it was all local. It all depended basically on your community, on the people that you knew. If you wanted to, let's say, ask for some money in a small community, let's say 100 people living in a small community, you will ask for money, and probably if you don't necessarily have collateral to pay, probably they will loan it to you because you are part of the community, and basically you're not gonna run away. You're still gonna be there. So there's somehow some sort of reputation. Then that evolved. When we started living in cities and when we started living in these, let's say, big communities, it started to become very difficult to start trusting humans one another. And then we started using something, some proxy, let's say, way of trusting, which we call it the institutions. We created religions, we created companies, we created all of these different ways for, let's say, working together. And now we're starting to see that, actually, who here trusts the government? Raise your hand if you trust the government. Oops. Who trusts religions? Wow. Well, it seems that we're really losing the trust in the institutions. And now we're getting to the age of distributed trust. But if we take a look in the institutional are very opaque. They're closed, they're centralized, they're licensed, they're top-down. Just, in other words, shit. And then the distributed, we have transparent, inclusive, decentralized, accountable, and bottom-up. But hey, guys, we're not there yet. We're there. And why I'm saying that we're there is because all of these different systems that we're creating, we still need to trust someone. So in this world where we, as I said before, we had the institutions in the middle, and now we're having this distributed trust. In this world where we need something in the middle to help us with trust, we have platforms, we have marketplaces, we have many different ways for, let's say, relying trust, or not relying, deferring trust. And then let's say that the square in the middle is the platform. So now you need to trust the idea of the platform, you need to trust the platform itself, and then you need to trust the users that are using the platform. That is in the, let's say, if we think about the Web 2 way. The Web 3 way is a little bit different. But let's go back to the Web 2 way. And remember what I said. Actually, I think that we're not there yet. We're not on the right side. We're still very close to the left side, to the institutional side. So if we go back to that, it's important to say that we're creating trustless systems. But hey, they are not completely trustless. We still need trust. So depending on the project, some trust is still needed. So first of all, we rely on energy. We need energy. So we trust that we're going to have energy. I'm from Venezuela, where they cut electricity every day for 9 hours, 10 hours, every day. So is this that we're creating necessarily, let's say, for Venezuelans? I don't know yet. So yeah, we're also relying on the on the hardware. Many people will say, yeah, Bitcoin is super decentralized. Anyone can come and participate in the network. And I would say, how many companies are providing the miners? Very few. Those companies that are providing the miners, they actually use it themselves for a long time, and then they resell it to whoever they want to resell it. They decide who they resell it to. So we're still relying on these parties. So then we have other form of trust, the consensus trust. We have tokenomics trust. So now we rely that the economic system makes economic sense. We have regulatory trust. We have oracles and data trust. We're relying on all of this information that is not necessarily on chain. So yeah, we are still delegating some trust there. Now the security of the contracts, are the developers that created this aware of all the possible vulnerabilities that could exist? Then we have privacy and anonymity. Let's say I'm interacting with a protocol. Is that protocol necessarily really protecting my privacy or my anonymity? Well, that's up to us if we trust them or not. Now then we have protocols or services trust. So now we rely on Telegram, we rely on Discord, we rely on Discourse, we rely on all of these different platforms and all of these different services. We are deferring our trust to those entities as well. So, and then we need to still trust the core team because they're the ones who push merge. And then we still need to trust, now we have this new other thing that is not only the core team, now we have a DAO, but the DAO sometimes is very opaque, and we say that it's transparent, but it's very opaque. And then we have stakeholders, maybe investors, maybe other, let's say, parties that are participating in the project. And yeah, there's other forms of trust. As you can see, this is very complex. We are not creating, let's say, completely trustless system. That's the spell that some magicians that come here want to throw at you. Please be careful with that spell. Pay attention. Be skeptical. You always are deferring trust to someone else. So yeah, trust is very complex. So why is trust so important for us, the Block Ravers? For those that don't know, the Block Ravers is a group that started in DEVCON in Osaka in 2019. They usually, in Japan, they close the parties around 1 or 2 in the morning, and a lot of people were coming to me and asking me, hey, where do we go next? What do we do next? So I started asking people, hey, do you have a place where we can go? Do you have a place where we can go? And somehow, like 10 people came to me and said, okay, we can go to this place, to my house, we can party here, blah, blah, blah. So we created this group, and we were telling people after the party, we're gonna go here. If we get kicked out, we're gonna go here. If we get kicked out, we're gonna go here. So let's say a censorless party that will travel around Japan. So that's how we started. But it has evolved during these last 4 years and a half. In Colombia, we had over 500 people that wanted to join, and we couldn't accept them all because we didn't know them, we didn't know who they were, we didn't know if they were actually aligned with our values and with our culture. So yeah, we had over 260 members in the community and 240 almost requesting to join the community. Sadly, as I said, we couldn't accept everyone because first, we didn't have a space for hosting everyone. Second, we want to preserve the culture that we're creating. We want to preserve, let's say, the different principles and values that we have in our culture. And yeah, in East Denver, one of the house parties that we did, someone came and graffiti our house. So we're like, damn, how do we do now that people are coming and destroying the places that we're providing for the community, our sanctuaries? So yeah, then we started doing something there in Denver. we started asking people to fill out the form to join our group, and they will need to write down who vouches for them. And then we will go to the person that apparently vouches for them, and we will ask them, do you vouch for that person? Are you sure that that person, that you know that person? Do you know them well? Are you sure that they are aligned with your values? And asking all of these questions. And people will start to think sometimes, actually, not really, I don't know that person that much. And why we were asking this question is because we told them, if someone that you invite come to our community and destroy something, or is a harasser, or does something that puts in danger our community, they're going to get kicked out, and you're going to get a yellow card. And in the second yellow card, you're out as well. So like that, we created, let's say, a way for us to have some sort of, how would I call it? Some sort of degree of knowledge of who we are as who is coming to our places, but also that the person that invited them felt responsible. So there was some sort of accountability with what we're doing. In Susalu, we started doing something very different. We started experimenting with these things that everyone has in their pocket, which are, let's say, the traditional NFTs that we call them paper money. These traditional NFTs, they have something very unique. They have characteristics that makes them only one. And some of those characteristics include the serial numbers. So we said, okay, what if we started creating a trust network where we can actually vouch that we met in real life? So imagine that instead of having a government issuing an identity to you and telling you this is you, you will come and say, this is me. And you put a paper money, you take a picture, and this serial number, basically you're saying, me, I have ownership of this paper money. And then I will come and show it to you. Hey, look at it, I have it. Hey, look at it, I have it. Hey, look at it, I have it. And by doing that, I started creating all of that, all of those, let's say, different vouchers. I can vouch the one that you have, you can vouch the one that I have, and so on. We could start creating a network of trusted humans, or let's say a network of people that basically we know are real, like we can see, we can talk to them, we know they're real. So we started playing with this game. So for you to come to our party, you had to have one of these NFTs. We had thousands of Venezuelan bolivars that we were just giving away for free to everyone. They're shitcoins, so nobody cares. So if you're gonna forge them, forge the highest bill, highest denomination bill in maybe the US dollar, but not forge the Venezuelan currency. So yeah, another thing that we did is, like we said, okay, for you to come to our next party, that was our first party, we said anyone that has the bill can come in. The second party, we said, for you to come to our party, you need to have 3 vouchers, a minimum 1 vouch from a Block Raver core team member, let's say. So like that, we started curating the people that were coming to our place and that we thought that were completely aligned with our values. And then the next party, we said, okay, now you need 5, and so on. So like that, we can create, let's say, different games and different circles and different groups of people that are actually somehow aligned. That was the hope that we had. So now, coming back to what I was saying before, here, this experiment was so cool, so cool. We created an application and started vouching for each other. You come with your profile, you register your bill, you say, this is me, and started vouching with people. And then we created a social graph. Big problem. All of this is on Ethereum. All of this is public. So imagine that you, as an individual, you are an influential individual, and everyone can see who are the people that you trust. That's a vector of attack right there. So because of that, we said, okay, we need to stop this. We're not going to move forward because we think and we believe that everything that we do when it comes to reputation and identity needs to be private by default, and that you actually open it up to the different people that you trust or different circles that you trust, but you own it. You have, let's say, you have the possibility of revoking access, approving access, and so on. This is what we believe, and this is what we strive forward. So if any one of you think that these ideas are cool, please reach out to me back after the talk. Let's talk. There are a lot of things to do. For Zook Connect, we started playing with the Ethereum Foundation. They created these cards called job emojis. The job emojis are cards. By the way, the block ravers have, there are 10 block ravers that have those cards. Meet them around, get the proof that you met them in real life. And with those proof, we're going to play different games. And like that, you're going to be able to come to our parties. You'll be able to come to different places that we organize. And yeah, basically, we have learned a lot, actually, from this game. There are NFC cards. Every time that you come and you tap it, it creates a new signature, and that signature includes a nonce. So every time that you tap it, it gives you a new nonce. So you can actually trust that you met a person in real life, and that is unique. So another thing that is important to mention here is that we don't think that this is necessarily the best way of doing things, because it creates a weird dynamic. Imagine that we are in a group, and I say, hey, I trust you, and I vouch that you have good vibes, and I give it to that person, but I don't give it to the other 5 that are in the group. It's so weird. Like, to me, it feels really weird. Also, another thing is that the vibes curators from Block Ravers are known by many people in the group. So there's people that are going and are chasing them, and it's more like a scavenger hunt rather than being very authentic, let's say, like authentic connection. So we learn a lot from this, but it's still not the best use case. The way that I'm thinking how this could potentially work in the future is that actually these cards could be exchanging contacts. So only for contacts, not for vouching, not for attestations, but just for exchanging contacts. And then, let's say I meet you, and when I meet you, I say, okay, give her access to my Instagram. And then I give you access to my Instagram. And then I give you access to my Telegram or my email. We start developing our relationship, and then I can give you more access to different parts of my identity. And then I can also start using that for delegating trust for different things. So for example, we can have someone that, let's say Zook is really good in operations. So I delegate, I trust Zook to vote in different DAOs for me when it comes to operations. And then Adrian when it comes to CK and so on. So I can start choosing like different people that I trust for different things. So that means that trust is very contextual. Trust, let's say, for example, if I have $100, I can give you Ismail $100. Hey, Ismail, go and buy me some weed. And then he comes and he gets me the weed. Amazing, great. But I can give him also $100 to buy a present for my mom. I don't know. I don't trust Ismail too much on that. The same amount of money, but different contexts, different scenarios. And yeah, basically, we need to understand that trust is not so simple as many are thinking, as just putting a number. The ones that want to put you a number, basically, most of the time, they're trying to enslave you. So block ravers in the future. As you can see, there's so much. Where we're trying to create here is a parallel society that supports each other, that are there for each other, and that raves together. So if you want to join us, scan the block ravers in Istanbul, fill out that form. If you want to talk to me, here on the right side, Alzuru.eth. And yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you, everyone.